much to talk about.
We got a lot.
We can talk about the
He-
Malice or the Laura.
We're not gonna talk. We can't talk to cops.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm gonna show up to my podcast with a cop and not talk to cops.
It was
Dude,
a funny joke for like
what I'm gonna
one.
do.
I teed that up to him too. I was like, hey, let me ask you a question. And knowing eventually he would be like, I'm not gonna talk to cops. And he nailed it. And I was happy. And then that's about the only back and forth that we had.
Dude, my favorite
showing up in that uniform was a wild concept.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I want to have a serious debate with this individual, and then I'm going to drop the ball this hard.
Well, no, he said, and I quote, "I'm not here to debate," as he showed up to a debate, and then he shows up in a costume with puppet props, and then he gets mad when anyone else makes a joke because they're making light of something he's passionate about. It's like, you're the only here in a costume. Rich is wearing a button-up shirt, taking it seriously.
It's crazy to read the comments and then his fans turning against him after a single debate because they're like, man, he's usually pretty intelligent, or at least I thought he was. He dropped the ball on this one.
Intelligent or not, he just came off as an arrogant asshole, which nobody wants to be on the side of an arrogant asshole, and nobody wants to watch an arrogant asshole talk. Nobody wants to listen to that. So just I noticed a shit ton of comments. I mean, they were all about him. None of them were nice, but a shit ton of comments were like, I couldn't watch this more than 15 minutes. He was killing me.
Side note, Rich, dude, you crushed it, brother. I was so proud of you. I was like, dude, Rich, you came off extremely well-spoken, professional. Your comedy beats were perfect. I was very proud of you, my friend. I was
held back a lot.
That Rich, you were sitting in the corner like the Hulk trying not to turn green the entire time.
That is a better analogy. That is a better
your
analogy.
facial expressions, like he has the internal, he's got the internal struggle of like, he wants to say something. I know he does. I know Richard, but he also knows not to up when his enemy's making a mistake.
Yes.
Like,
oh, that
I
face,
texted
dude.
that to you. You were like, you literally texted me. You're like, why didn't you say stuff? Like, I thought you could have teed off on him so hard. And I said, Nicholas, I go, the art of war, Sun Tzu, never stop your enemy from making a mistake when he's making one. You know, and I had to bite my tongue so much.
Richard seemed quiet.
Dude, the thing that was
had to tell you 90%.
Richard seemed quiet.
90%. You didn't even have to do that.
Dude, if I'm quiet, you should probably take a long look at yourself and be like, either I'm extremely entertaining because Richard isn't talking, or something really bad is happening because Richard isn't talking and he's soaking it up all in. And there's gonna be a time where Richard says words, but if it's an hour after he's quiet, there's gonna be an issue. That's not gonna be fun, Richard. Not for somebody.
Dude, what was wild to me, and the thing that like irritated me the most about the whole thing, and I applaud you for being able to keep your cool, is he would ramble
I've had
on the same
homeless
talking
naked people
points.
call me the N-word. I can handle an anarchist in a mustache that's just like, I'm not done here. I'm not finished talking yet. I'm like, okay, dude.
Dude, he would ramble on for like 5 to 7 minutes, and then you would try and bring up one of his points from the beginning, and if you didn't quote him exactly right, he was like, well, you should probably pay attention and write it down. Like, dude, you're arguing semantics. It's
Well, that's
the
why
dumbest
towards the end or the middle, I don't know what it was. It was all blur. I was like Will Ferrell in the middle of Old School doing the debate. I was like, oh, what happened? You know, because I was holding my breath so long. But I noticed that he kept doing that. So at one point in the debate, I pushed back and I'm like, no. I said, I feel like this. Can you help me understand better? He's like, you hear putting wisdom. I go, no. I said, I feel this way. Help me understand, which is one of my interview tactics that I do on perps. So
Learn from the best.
yeah, I started once I realized it was hostile. I was like, okay, I'm just going to ask him. I'm just going to do reflections, and I'm just going to ask him if what I'm getting from him is correct. I'll do a rebuttal, and then I'll do a reflection, and I'll see, like, hey, you said this. Does that mean that? And then you'll notice that even before I say other things, I don't know if you, please don't watch it again. But I start saying, hey, you said this. Does that mean that? And then he would say, you're putting words in my mouth. You're putting words in my mouth. I did that like 2 or 3 times. And then I was like, I feel. Because, the I feel thing is very different. And that's like, this from my personal aspect, which I can't be wrong from I feel, especially if I feel and then I ask for clarification. So I was doing some interview techniques on him because I just could tell that, one, he was hostile, two, he was emotional, and then three, it wasn't a conversation. So I was like, okay, if you want to bully the conversation, I can make you look like a bully. And just by me kind of sitting back a little bit more and being super nice, that's the way it was. But it was hostile from the beginning. It was hostile when we first met. Behind
Really? He didn't want to even hug you, right?
Like in what happened in the green room?
So
like
the
before you
whole
went on
green
stage?
room was really strange and tense. Everybody was cool. And then Michael showed up and he had a bag and people were telling me like he wears costumes and stuff. So even once he showed up with a bag, I was like, there's a cop uniform in there. I know there is. And literally Tim goes, Michael, I already called him Michael. And they're like, Michael, this is blah, 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 so. Oh, and this is Rich High. He's the cop that you're going to debate. And I go, hi, Mike. Literally just like that. I go, hey, how you doing, Mike? And he goes, oh, Mike. Okay. Like Mike is such a stretch.
Oh my
And then
God.
he would not talk to me the entire time. He wouldn't look at me, which is hard to do. Like you have to like fight not to look at somebody in a 12 by 12 room. And
Ask my son, Ryden. He's really good at it.
boy, Ryden would have been impressed at this normie's ability to not look at me in the eye.
I must take notes on this man. He is very good at not conversating.
You can talk to them and not look at them? So we start talking about something. When I say we, I mean like the group was. And he said something about like cops, I don't like cops, and I said something back like, hey, you don't gotta like all of them, blah, blah. And then he threw in like a curveball. It's like, my mother's by cops. And I couldn't tell if it was a joke or not. And it was just such a quick change to like try to catch me off guard. I didn't know if it was like a jab to be like, I see what he does with this, you know? And I was like, geez, what was she wearing? Huh? You know, because it was a quick back and forth.
Oh
and like,
my God.
There's one of two things you're doing with that. I've been in so many conversations with like assholes. Like, I know what you're doing. Either you're A, trying to throw me off and it's a joke, or B, you're being serious, but you're trying to like disparage me for something that's nothing that, and I had no control over what happened to your mother if it was true. So you, so either A, I'm going to continue the joke. You're not going to throw me off, or B, you for trying to put that on me. And, I don't know which one it was. I hope his mom wasn't. That'd be horrible. But I threw that out there. And
what was the room's reaction to that statement?
Everybody started giggling, and his response was like, see, just like a cop, you know, take whatever it is as consent, blah, 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 using his power as, you know, for tyranny, blah, blah, blah. Which is like the two things that he said after that. And then that was it. That's all we talked. That's all we said to one another. Well, that's all he said to me. And then he got dressed. He wore the cop thing, which I knew right away he was going to after I saw the bag. Put two and two together. I'm not dumb. And people thought it was funny. And I tried to like make some jokes about it. And I realized he wasn't talking to me. And then I called him out on it. And I was like, oh my God, are you not talking to me because I'm the police? Don't talk to the police. Is that your joke? That's brilliant. Like, I'm trying to build a bridge. I'm like complimenting him on his ability to stick to a shtick. And nothing. We walk through the hallways. We get behind the curtain, like before we step up onto the stage. We're there for like 4 or 5 minutes. And I'm like, people are talking to him and he's just got his back to me and will not like just like a bouncer. Like he's just blocking the way to the stage and he's just there with his back to me. And I'm not chirping him, but I'm trying to say like, hey, Mike, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah. Michael, you know, hey, you're quiet, brother. You okay? You know, and nothing. And then we get on stage and then he talks to me. And then the sad part is when it was all over, I went to go meet with some people, just the fans that showed up. I was buying them a couple rounds of shots and stuff. And I was like, this is my weekend. I'm getting sloshed. I'm having a good time. Like they flew me out here on my off day. I don't get a lot of these. I'm going to take it as I can. So I was doing some shots and having some drinks with some fans and at that venue, and then we left because there was like next door was some place where Tim and Mike and Ellis were getting something to eat and like a beer before we go to like the real after party at some upscale bar thing. And I go up to the table and I see Ellis and I apologize to Ellis. He's the big guy with tattoos. And I was like, hey man, I said that joke about your facial tattoo and you shot me. It looked like you, bro. I go, and I just wanted to make sure, like, I'm just busting your balls. Like, that was just a joke. I didn't actually mean any of that shit. And he's like, oh, no, mate. No, that was funny. I don't give a shit. And I was like, good. Just want to make sure. Because right now I'm stepping on eggshells because everybody hates the cop. And I look over at Mike and I'm like, Mike, hey, listen, it was really interesting meeting you. It was interesting hearing some of the stuff that you said. It was really nice meeting you. And I, stuck my hand out and he just like, tismed it up and just like pretended that I wasn't there. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to go sit at this other table then and talk to some people that, don't hate my guts. I think I said something like that. And I turn around and sit down. And then like 5-10 minutes later, he had left. I don't know. I didn't give a shit because my back was to him. And Tim's like, hey, Rich, you want to come over here? And I shot Tim a joke. I was like, oh, to the cool kids table? You guys going to talk to me now? Gee, thanks. And I knew that it was because of Mike that they were being awkward. And Tim was just like, hey, I'm sorry about that. I've never seen him like that. And Ellis said the same thing. He's like, I've never seen Mike like that. He's like, and they both agree, like him not shaking your hand was rude and weird. And just, they've never seen him like that before. I'm like, oh.
You won, Richard.
I won by being quiet. Do you know how hard that is?
For you? Yes.
Yeah.
For you, impossible. Yeah.
It's a resounding everyone.
Yeah.
The amount of restraint that I showed.
If I could go back and change one thing about that entire debate, I should wear
an anarchy shirt,
get a time machine and whisper in your ear. At one point, you get up in the debate and you get behind Mike and tell him you're going to give him a hug, trying to break all this weird asshole tension he's been emitting for like an hour and 20 minutes. And Mike goes, don't touch me. That's assault. If you would have said, what are you going to do? Call the cops? It would have been comedy gold.
I think I heard him. I think I heard something assault. And then I was just like, I've already won. Like it would have been better. That would have been, you're absolutely right. That would have been better. We're going to call the cops.
Yeah.
But just me going up there and hovering around him and then him being so, even taking an assault, like a little bitch, like I was like, sweet, one.
Oh,
Here
and
I
then
am just being a funny guy. And
he doubled down.
He can't even get a hug.
He's like, oh, do you see how comfortable they are getting in your face? And I did like your reaction to that. Like, I was behind you. And just,
I wasn't in your face. I was behind you.
My favorite thing was not having an answer to any question that got asked of him whatsoever.
Yeah.
Tim really came in and obliterated him when he was like, well, how do you feel about ICE and border security? Do we need ICE? And he's like, open borders are bad. We need to have closed borders. And Tim's like, well, yeah.
Question.
But who's going to do it if we get rid of all the law enforcement? And he didn't have an answer. He's like, well, we need to have some type of entity that does that. And he's like, okay, but who's the customer? Because the government doesn't exist. So who's going to pay him? And he's just like, well, I don't know. It's like, you just admitted that cops need to exist and that it's not going to get paid for unless there's a government. Like you just shit all over your own worldview. I don't understand.
I wish that he knows his view is retarded. No, he doesn't actually believe that there shouldn't be cops. And if he does, he doesn't. He's not that dumb. He's an intelligent person. He's a shill for whatever ideology he's trying to push for people that want these things gone, but don't know how reality works, right? It's like communism. It looks good on paper, but it doesn't work in reality. So instead of it being like a debate, I wish that it was like an honest conversation where he could have been like, I don't like this about cops. And I don't like that about cops. Or these are my feelings about cops. And then I could have been like, you know what? Those feelings are validated for the thing that you went through. Here's my opinion on that. Or, hey, I disagree with you. Cops should belong here or do this job, even though you don't agree with that. Or maybe, hey, that's an interesting point of view. That's a problem I haven't thought of from a police perspective. Maybe we do need to pull back on that. There was no conversation. It was him. And he had like a piece of paper in front of him too, which I don't know what was on it, but I assume it was a bunch of bullet points and like talking points that he needed to stick on because he kept saying cops are human and people would come up and kind of f up the argument and be like, do you think we should have androids? And what they should have said was, all right, Michael, if you keep saying cops are human and cops are capable of horrible things because they're human, you can't obviously remove the human element because private security is going to be human. So why do you keep saying that? What is your solution to this? If you're saying that men are flawed and therefore we can't have any source of security from the government perspective, we have to have private security, which I would assume would be even more flawed because they don't follow or listen to the people. They listen to the people that pay them. Like then, like where are you going with this? All men are flawed thing. Where are you going with it?
Ta-da.
And maybe he would have answered me, or maybe he wouldn't have, but
No, he wouldn't. He doesn't talk to cops.
yeah, right. Yeah. Well,
You know,
and that was
really,
the other thing too, is he only took the perspective of like, I pull you over and I'm talking to you. He took the perspective of the suspect in all cases and like never thought about like the victim. Like, oh, hold on a second. Like the cops, we don't belong here. Who's going to put out the bud? Like, what? Like I'm bringing a rapist in and you're like, don't talk to them. It's your constitutional right. I'm like, okay, you can do that. But at the same time, if I'm following the rules and I'm talking to some guy that raped somebody, like, what is your disdain for me?
It was wild to hear that individual's side, and then the ginger kid that Ethan, I think you sent.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not even gonna say his. Yeah, I won't even say his channel name. Just listening to that one, he's like, oh, Richard's gonna get lit up. Then the top comments now are hilarious because it was like, well, I expect you to delete this video or at least change the title.
Wait, what video?
I dropped it in the group chat
What
like a week
video?
ago.
What am I missing?
Wait, you don't remember this?
No.
In the kind of consensual group chat, there is a YouTube video, and it is a dude that does he believe in?
I don't know. He's some basement dwelling neckbeard. I've never heard of this guy
That's
before.
the
in my
thing.
life.
He was a dude that has zero experience because he was like, oh, they don't understand this. This guy has never had any adversity in life, and he expects all mankind to be great, and everyone's just sunshines and rainbows, and people will naturally be good no matter what. That's the only takeaway I had from watching any of his stuff. It was like, oh, wow, you have zero life experience. Got it. But he did not like Rich.
I think
or our entire show.
I didn't watch it. I just saw like the first 3 minutes of it, and he was just like a living embodiment of the actually guy. And I was like, oh Jesus.
Yep.
And he like didn't even listen to our arguments too. He's like, actually, that's flawed because of this. I'm like, dude, listen for 30 more seconds. 30 more. Jeez, shut up.
That's rough.
Dude, I can tell you, I think that should go down in like a debate handbook, is that if you have to plead the fifth during a debate, you've lost.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Period.
Ethan,
You mean
is out.
like when Rich brought up a perfectly valid counterpoint about bartenders being held liable for over serving, and Michael Malice says, well, that's a distraction, so I'm just not going to address it.
No, it's a direct rebuttal to exactly your point.
Yeah. And he just goes, that's a distraction. I'm not going to address it. It's like, no, that was a perfectly valid counter argument. Okay.
Yeah. Pleading the fifth during
you
a
did
debate.
good.
Yeah.
You did
Congratulations,
good. I'm so proud
Rich.
of
You killed him with kindness, quite literally.